Hello and welcome back to another episode of Adventures in Osten, where we'll be following the gang as they make their way towards the flame snakes that are encouraging the kobolds to attack some poor, harmless and defenseless lumberjacks. So we leave the party, having abandoned a kobold tied to the tree who gave them directions, and they begin making their way towards where these flame snakes are supposed to be. Unconvinced by the kobold's honesty, Aramil is going to use the track feat that he has to see if he can find kobold tracks. Now the track feat is an interesting one. It allows you to use your survival skill to follow tracks. Without the feat, you are only able to see that there are tracks and that they maybe lead like this direction, but you'll lose sight of the tracks at some point and whatnot, and this lets you intuit where the gaps in tracks would natively lead up. You're not following footstep, 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 but it'll be footstep, footstep, there's a bunch of rocks here in a river, and you intuit that the footsteps will be slightly further on. Aramil has two little bonuses here. Firstly, he is quite the huntsman and is able to track things throughout the forest, which is why he has the track feat. He is also currently a bear, which means he has the scent ability, which means he can follow the scent of the kobolds. This isn't actually going to change very much at all, as the DC for both is going to be the same, and it's the same skill roll. It turns out the kobold was completely truthful, and they make their way following back the way they come. And along the way they find like rabbit bones and whatnot, as the kobolds have hunted and gathered some things on their way along. So as they make their way further down, they get deeper and deeper into the forest as they come to the foot of the mountain, which is just a little way away. As they're getting there, the sounds of animals seem to diminish out and they start becoming quieter and quieter. But then there's this sylvan tone, and sylvan is the language of the Fae. It seems to be something singing deep into the forest. This causes everyone to make a will save. Bramble begins to bob and weave, and they really feel the music in their bones, and they begin to walk into the deeper part of the forest away from the planned path. The rest of the party are very quick to notice that they have gone missing, and so they begin to make a quick attempt to chase after them. Shortly, the party find themselves in a small clearing with a strange obelisk from which dangles a chain and is a small pool of blood at the base of it. They can hear the sound of water ahead of them, as well as the source of the singing far beyond. At this particular moment, Aramil, Nadala, and Caitlin are all going to make a spot check to see if they see anything. So, while everyone is taking in the area around them, Aramil has spotted, deep off in the distance, that sitting on a rock in the river, there is a harpy singing a song, which is captivating Bramble. With initiative roll, we see that the chokers that no one saw hiding in the trees are able to go first, and as such, they will. The chokers lie in wait around the trunk of the tree, ready to run around and grab whoever is captivated by the song. The envious choker is going to take his turn. He's going to start off with a nice charge, which is his full action. And he is not in range to attack. However, chokers are supernaturally fast and are able to take an additional standard action in their turn. As such, he's going to downgrade his standard action to a move action so that he can, in fact, move. Moving to Bramble thusly. The suspicious choker is not quite sure about people coming into his zone, so what he's going to do is he's going to simply just move, and then he's going to take the full defense action as he guards against any attack. This means that he's used his bonus standard action as a move action to physically move, and then his normal action, which is a full action, to defend himself. Nice and simple. Talima, the harpy, continues to sing her sweet song. Bramble will continue to move towards Potoma. The envious choker will make his attack. Bramble is completely able to defend themselves, however, they must continuously move towards Potoma. And the choker has significantly missed. Big ol' whiff. Aramil, seeing that his friend is having themselves a bit of a problem, is going to charge in on the envious choker. Launching into this thing with a vicious bite. And that's a nat one, never mind. Caitlin thinks that she has a plan. Moving up forward, she is going to cast Stinking Cloud. Stinking Cloud is a conjuration spell with a radius of 20 feet and a very large range. And she's going to slap it right there on Ptolemy. Caitlin speaks a couple of words in Draconic and then crushes a bit of cabbage and raw egg together and spreads her hands out, causing a magical gas to move all the way over there and just splat around it. Ptolemy needs to make a saving throw with her fortitude. Now, saving throws in 3rd edition, very quick, very simple. Base of 10 again, plus 1 for every spell level. So it's a spell level 3, so it's base 13 now, plus your spell casting modifier. And Caitlin has a plus 4, so that means that she has a 17. 15 fails. Ptolemy is now nauseated. So the TLDR for nauseated is that Ptolemy now cannot take any action. She cannot make any attacks. She cannot cast any spells. She cannot concentrate on anything. She can only make a single move action in a turn. This lasts for as long as she's within the cloud and for 1d4 plus 1 rounds after she leaves. As she just vomits and her stomach is absolutely in cramps. She's unable to do anything for a while now. So next up is Nadala. Now Nadala is finding herself quite far away. This isn't really ideal for her. So what she's going to do is she's just going to make a double move. That is when you move once and then turn your standard action into another move. Now the Envious Choker is going to try his best. A Choker has 2 rubbery tentacle arms that he can just lash out up to 10 feet away, which is impressive considering he's a small 3-foot tall creature. He can throw 2 of these as his full round. Then he has an additional standard action which he can attack a 3rd time. So let's see how that goes. And remember, Aramil charged. This doesn't look too good for Aramil. So that is 3 hits on Aramil, which is already pretty bad. However, each one of these come with the fact that as the tentacle grabs onto the thing, the cloaker is able to make a free grapple. So what this is 1, 2, 3 grapples. That's not too bad, 23, 24, and 7. Aramil gets to defend against that with 3 of these. And sadly, he fails all 3 with a 17-21. So that's 17 pairing to the 23, loss. 21 to the 24, loss. And 9 to the 7, that's a win. That's my bad. I caught myself. However, that does mean that twice the grab was successful. Now, why is this important? They also have a cool little feature called Constrict, which means any time they succeed on a grapple check, their opponent takes 1d3 plus 3 damage. So we'll do another 11 points of damage to Amaril. Minus 11. Aramil is not doing very well. The Suspicious Choker is going to do their utmost damnedest to move and then full attack Bramble. Bramble is very lucky. Those are terrible rolls. The better of the 2 was a 9. Ptolemy is very obviously going to leave this cloud. She does have a fly speed of 80, so let's have her fly out. Let's just keep going. Just cough, cough, wheeze, hack. And we'll leave her about 20 feet high. Now, even though the song has stopped, Bramble is affected by it one more time. Most direct route, not going through the rocks. That is going to trigger the Suspicious guy's attack. Oh, look, he's just rolling absolute dog water. And at this moment, Bramble is jerked awake. They realise they're in the wrong place, and they get ready. Aramil is not happy. Aramil is not doing very well. He is very enraged. He's going to take a 5-foot step, and he's going to cast a spell. The spell is going to be Cure Moderate Wounds. This gives him a not terrible amount of hit points. And he's going to bank on the fact that Nadala is right there and is hopefully going to help. Caitlin is also going to very simply magic missile her way out of problems on the Envious Choker. Okay, and Nadala is going to... Sadly, she has to move up fully and properly before she can stab this guy. So, that's a lot of dice. You'll notice that that's because what happened was she rolled a natural 20, and the multiplier for her Gazam is large. It's times 3. So, in 3rd edition, when something says times 3, it is all of the things times 3. Except for bonus dice. If she had a +1 d6 fire feature on that weapon, the d6 wouldn't triple, but everything else would. So as we've got it here, she has rolled 6d4. She has added 18 from her ability times 1.5. As she's using a two-handed weapon or a weapon in two hands, she's able to add her strength 1.5 times. So being strength 18 gives you a 4. Times that 1.5 is 6. She then gets the enhancement 3 times over, so +3. And then the weapon specialization feat for another 6. Meaning she has, if this hits, it is a total of 42 damage. It did hit, immediately putting the guy on a -34. Nadala is very good at the whole vengeance thing, apparently. After Nadala, it is the Suspicious Choker, who is going to take a little 5-foot step before going all out on poor little Bramble. Poor little Bramble seems to be completely covered in plot armor today. A 12 might hit. It does not. And the tentacle with a roll of 23 probably does. So it does hit, it does do 4 damage, which does mean that we now have to trigger a grapple check. So the Suspicious Choker may have rolled only a 5, however, because of the size penalties not mattering in relation to each other, that might be enough. She rolls a 15 for a total of 16. And thus wins. There is no constriction here. Tolema is going to find out how long she's going to be sick. Tolema is going to simply fly the heck off because she has no need to remain here. Bramble is eager to attack the Choker. She has to get her knife, short sword out, as she is too close to the thing to shoot with her bow. She does not get a sneak attack or small hunter. Gives it a nice swing and... it's a solid 19 for 3 damage. Aramil is going to cast another Cure Wounds. And this is fine. He's chugging through these a little bit quickly, but it should be fine. Kanan is simply going to pass his turn, as having seen what Nadala did to that one singular Choker by mistake, she's a little bit concerned what she's going to do when she does this on purpose. So she's simply going to stand back and allow Nadala to have her fun. Nadala is going to simply run in and do what Nadala does best. She's going to run in with a charge, and she's going to attack the Suspicious Choker. Now, this time, she's going to use something called Power Attack. It is a -X for +X. So whatever you reduce your attack by, you get on the attack, with 2 important notes. The limit to this is your base attack bonus. So she has a +6, so she can remove up to 6 from her attack roll to hit someone. The other important thing is, because she's using a two-handed weapon, and instead of getting -1 on the attack for +1 on the damage, for every -1 on the attack, she gets +2 on the damage. And so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give her a -4, as well as the +2 from charge. Single attack. Rolls a 12 for a 22. 23 damage is quite a lot. Let's see what it does. It kills it outright. Straight to -10. Nice. And we can break that down here, as you can see. Weapon specialization, 2 damage. Power attack, 8 damage, because that is 4 doubled. The enchantment of the weapon and her ability. And she rolled 2 on the 2d4. Very reasonable. Very fine. Tolema will continue to fly away. She's shrieking things in Sylvan, saying,
"Elf Slayer have you! Elf Slayer take you! The fire snakes burn you!"
She just flaps off. However, she is not gone forever. So the party are actually in Tolema's house, essentially. That is her nest at the bottom there. The party takes a very brief moment to notice that the blood around the pillar in the middle of the clearing here is quite old. It's completely dry and stained into the stone now, but it seems that things have been tied here and tortured to death. The party are very confident that they could probably climb over to Tolema's nest, as that river is not very deep, it's very shallow. Bramble is incredibly keen to get some payback. Bramble insists that they wait for Tolema to return and ambush her. The party agree with their friend and wait in hiding. So with plenty of time to set themselves up, the party find themselves in nice little places to hide and then proceed to roll their hide skill. Nadala having a little bit of trouble apparently. Tolema makes their spot check as they return home some hours later. In this time, Aramil will run out of wild shape. Tolema flaps quietly back in, hoping for the best. Now, even though Tolema has rolled 6 on their spot against Nadala's 5 on her hide, there is a modifier of +1 to the hide check per 10 feet of distance between the two. So, unless Tolema goes within 10 feet of Nadala, she won't see. As a result, Tolema, quietly and happily, returns back to her nest and hopes that this was the end of just a very bad day. Swearing and sputtering about horrible adventurers stealing all my friends. I'll show them. I'll hunt them and I'll take them down. Unbeknownst to her, Bramble is hiding in her nest, and Bramble will take the surprise round, which is a single initiative pass where you can make a single standard action, which is all Bramble needs. In fact, Bramble's going to do one better. Before Tolema returns to her nest proper, Bramble's going to ambush her with the bow. Now this is against a flat-footed attack, which doesn't matter because that was a 22. So flat-footed would be without dexterity to AC, which is going to be a 14 here. Tolema is surprised, and that was the signal for everyone to go. Caitlin is ready. Caitlin. Yep. Caitlin simply uses her wand of magic missile, which seems to solve all problems. Nearly ending her. Moves his 40 feet further forward, and then realizes he has no ranged attack option. That's on me. That was a big mistake. He should probably have a javelin or something in there. Nadala, however, is going to simply line up a shot. Drawing an arrow is a free action, so you're able to draw, shoot, free action, draw, shoot as part of the same full action. You can't do this with crossbows, as it requires a move action to reload them, and that interrupts the action. So this is why crossbows, light and heavy, are simple weapons, so almost any class can use them, but they have this slightly higher damage output per shot, but a much greater investment in reloading. This can be mitigated slightly with a feat. The rapid reload feat reduces the time required to reload a heavy crossbow from full to move, and it reduces a hand crossbow or light crossbow from a move action to a free action. So this feat essentially will make a light crossbow that does a d8 of damage shoot as fast and efficiently as a regular longbow. So, Nadala gets 2 attacks. Pew pew. You might notice the second attack often has a much lower result than the first one. This is how iterative attacks work in 3rd edition. rather than just making 2 attacks at your full, every time you have more than a +5, you get an additional iterative attack. So at level 5, Nadala has a +5 to hit. That's fine. At level 6, she has a +6 to hit and a +1 to hit. And this will continue until she has 7-2, 8-3, all the way up until 11-6. And then it becomes 11-6 and 1. And this will keep going up again from 11-6-1 all the way up to 16-11-6 and 1. And that goes up infinitely. And this is why the full bat progression for martials is potent versus spellcasters, because the fighter will, at say level 11, will have 3 attacks, 11, 6 and 1. And bear in mind, you're also level 11, you have your strength to add to this, you have your gear to add to this, you have feats to add to this, you have all sorts to add to this. Whereas you're at 11, the wizard will be at +5. Wizards are not very good at combat. Just so it's said, something in between the two, such as a cleric or a druid, will have a +8, +3. So when the martial has an 11-6-1, the cleric will have an 8-3. So they're not dreadful. The difference of +3 is very minimal. So Nadala has fired 2 shots, however only one of them seems to have hit. But it's fine. The arrow strikes her in the arm and she goes, "Ah!" and she sinks to the ground, splat. She takes an additional 2d6 falling damage because she's 20 foot up in the air. The party are very lucky to have got her out of this one alive. They managed. Getting Ptolemy to disappear for so long was lucky. The party are adamant that they're going to return to the tracks that they were following of the kobolds. However, first, they turn over Telema's body, and in fact, they find some interesting gear. Telema has on her a Darkwood +1 shield. However, she does also have a Morning Star of spell storing. And what this allows is that a spellcaster can put a spell into the thing, and the next time someone hits with it, it discharges the spell as a free action. Both of these items are going to be held by Aramil until such time that a plan can be made for them. And so the party make their way back to the tracks, having had their diversion, and return back to hunting. Thank you for watching this episode. I'm having an awful lot of fun doing this. If there's anything you'd like to see in the future, do let me know down below. And do comment to let me know if I did make anything too convoluted or explained it well enough or didn't explain it well enough. Please do let me know, because that is the point of this mission. Ciao. If you like what I do and you want to see more, please do like, share and subscribe for future GM Pope content. I run one-shots and campaigns for many game systems over on my Discord, and I also have a Patreon if you would like to help support my content. And as always, keep adventuring, trust the dice, and have fun. Ciao.